Hi there, in this video we are looking at 9 different camera monitors. Some of these I purchased myself, other ones have been sent to me by manufacturers in the past, but this is not a sponsored video. We're here to figure out what camera monitor that might be the perfect fit for you. So with that said, all of these monitors have a screen resolution of 1920 by 1080, and that's the highest resolution you'll ever find on a camera monitor, even if you're willing to spend upwards of $5,000. They also share pretty much the exact same assist features like false colors, focus peaking, zebras, custom LUT support. So we won't be diving too deep into those specs on these monitors. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, and I'll share some more tips and things to be aware of when you're buying a monitor at the end of this video. So coming in at just $149 is the Feelworld F6 Plus. It's the most affordable monitor in our lineup, and it's actually the first monitor that I ever bought. It has a 5.5-inch touchscreen with a brightness of 450 nits. You can power this monitor with both NPF LPE6 batteries as well as over USB-C and with a DC barrel connector. 450 nits, I would say, is on the lower end for outdoor run and gun shooters, even with the included sunshade attached. So I would primarily recommend this monitor to someone looking for an affordable monitor for indoor use. Next up is another one from Feelworld, the recently released P6X that I actually reviewed here just a couple of weeks ago. So here we get an aluminum housing and vertical crop markers, a nice looking 5.5-inch 1000 nit 8-bit display, and overall it's a really good all-around monitor. And actually the only monitor here in our lineup with the faster HDMI 2.0 that supports 4K up to 60 frames per second in and out. This monitor has built-in fans that can be adjusted and controlled in the menu, and it also offers customizable presets that are really handy. It also have these customizable function buttons here on top, and obviously pinch to zoom, like most monitors from Feelworld has. It comes with a mount, a standard HDMI and a micro HDMI cable, as well as this USB-A to C adapter for loading your LUTs and firmware and that kind of stuff. Next up, we got the very popular DC-550 series from Viltrox. Here we will be looking at both the regular standard and the DC-550 Pro, and we'll bundle them up at times and keep them separate at other times. So first of all, the one thing that I really like about these monitors is this genius pop-up sun hood that you can leave on your monitor and just fold it down for transport to protect your screen. Behind the sun hood, we find a 1200 nit 5.5-inch 8-bit display with plenty of features like zebras, false colors, anamorphic D-squeeze, and the whole 9 yards. The menu system on the DC-550 series is super duper easy to navigate and gives you great control of the built-in fan. It's an overall great 1200 nit monitor. The only problem that I've come across using this monitor is if you're using anamorphic lenses and you're using the D-squeeze on the monitor, it resets every time you power off the monitor. The way that I get around this is by just dimming down the screen instead of turning it off if there's a bit of downtime on set while I'm shooting or when I'm shooting with anamorphic lenses. The DC-550 Pro will give you the exact same features and specs as the regular 550, apart from a few additional assist features. So depending on your needs, and if you're someone that heavily relies on various exposure tools and that kind of stuff, it may or may not be worth for you to spend the extra money on the Pro model. And both of these models comes with the exact same type of carrying case, a cold shoe mount, cables, NPF battery, which essentially makes them ready to use straight out of the box. And that's one of the reasons why I think they've become so popular. Now let's talk about the OSEE Lilmon 5. This 5.5-inch monitor has been one of my absolute favorites for many years. It's got a 10-bit display with 1000 nit brightness and some other amazing standout features like adjustable gamma, probe location for your exposure tools, and this LUT slider that actually allows you to adjust the opacity or the amount of any LUT you apply in the monitor. This can be super helpful and great if you're using a standard conversion LUT in camera and you want to be able to add a look LUT on top of that while you're out shooting. As far as customization and color accuracy goes, this one has got to be one of the better options. It actually supports hardware color calibration with X-Rite probes. It's also the only fanless 1000 nit monitor in this comparison, but there is another one, a 1500 nit monitor without fans, so I'm not sure why I brought that up. Another reason though to consider the Lilmon 5 is the monitor's Swift OS system, which actually allows you to have multiple different setups for different camera models and different shooting scenarios, which makes this an ideal monitor for someone that jumps around between Canon, Sony, Nikon, Red, Arri, what have you. Now let's feast our eyes on the Viltrox DC-X2 and the DC-X3. Now, just like the DC-X550 series, we will be bundling these two up here and there because they're basically identical except for the SDI ports we see on the DC-X3, which is probably the most used monitor of this year here in my house. That extra little half-inch, we'll get to that later, but it actually makes quite a bit of difference. So at the core we got a robust aluminum housing and a 6-inch 2000 nit 8-bit IPS display. The monitor offers customizable function buttons on top, USB-C and DC power options, along with a very easy to navigate menu system. These monitors both have a built-in fan that can be controlled in the menu. On top of that, we have a 60Hz refresh rate and the same type of sun hood we saw on the DC-550s. Both of these monitors also comes with a carrying case, cold shoe mount, cables and MPF battery, making them once again ready to use straight out of the box. One thing to know about the DC-X3, at least today when I'm recording this video, it won't be able to convert an HDMI signal to SDI and vice versa. I'm not sure if that's going to change with firmware down the road, but as for now, when I'm recording this video, it's only going to be a loop through on either connection. But like I said, this one has been one of my most used monitors, even if it was released sometime during the summer. Now this next monitor, or at least what I say about it, might make me end up in tar and feathers. But next up we got the Atomos Shinobi II, and it's by far the sleekest and the most compact, but also the one with the smallest screen in our lineup. It features a 5.2 1500 nit display with a pixel count of 423 ppi, and I really like the display quality of the Shinobi II. Along with our next monitor and the Lilmon 5, it also features an 8-bit FRC display, which is also commonly marketed as a 10-bit display. So from this point in this video, if I say 10-bit, know that I'm referring to 8-bit FRC. Now, the sleek design of the Shinobi 2 comes at a cost. We are missing out on some in and out options, and we also get just one of these little mounting points here at the bottom, which may or may not be a deal breaker for some people depending on how you prefer to mount your monitor, but I think it's worth knowing when we're talking about, these different monitors. Atomos offers some limited camera control for a handful of different camera models, and I wouldn't recommend you to buy this monitor, at least not in its current state, for the camera control. The touch focus, which I'm assuming most people are interested in, isn't really at a useful state at this point. Also be aware of the fact that you will be sacrificing your camera's USB-C port to gain that limited camera control in its current state. It might not be a well worth trade-off for a lot of people who prefer to run power to the camera over USB-C instead of using dummy batteries. Now, in all fairness, the menu system is looking really nice. It's easy to navigate. I really enjoy, flipping through the pages on the Shinobi 2, and they have plenty of really good assist features, including false colors, zebras, crop guides, and all of that, including anamorphic T-squeeze, which I, by the way, wouldn't recommend you to get this monitor for because of the size, which will make it more difficult for you to rack manual focus, obviously. But yeah, maybe we'll touch more on that later on. But hey, if you're looking for a super sleek and compact monitor with surprisingly good battery life, and you're mainly going to be relying on autofocus because of the screen size, which will make manual focusing less enjoyable, even compared to a 5.5-inch monitor, then the Shinobi 2 in its current state might be a good option for you, but I wouldn't buy it today for the camera control. Now, Moving on to, I think it's the last monitor in this lineup. So the next and final monitor is the Portkeys LH7P. Now, this 7-inch monitor offers wireless camera control and touch focus over Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. We also get 4 customizable function buttons here on top, along with HDMI in and out, DC power, and a headphone jack. This monitor, like we mentioned earlier, also features a 10-bit 1000 nit display, and the new menu system have actually made Portkeys monitors much easier and very pleasant to work with. In fact, I really like browsing around this operating system, and it also offers a couple of really standout features when it comes to image control and monitoring. And yeah, overall they've done a much better job than Atomos in terms of functionality and reliability when it comes to camera control. The only downside with the system here when it's wireless is that at least Sony cameras, the ones I've tried this on, doesn't transfer the little focus box over wirelessly like this. So you won't be able to see any focus box when you're tapping on your subject, but you will clearly see that whatever it is you're tapping on will be in focus. And being wireless, it also means that we can still use our USB-C port on our camera for powering, live streaming, and whatever it might be. And like I said before, I much prefer to power my camera over USB-C instead of dummy batteries. The anamorphic support with customizable squeeze factors along with a larger screen is also something that I really like about this monitor, and it's why I would recommend it along with the DC-X series to people who are shooting anamorphic. But not everyone shoots anamorphic, and if you don't, there's still gonna be plenty of standout features that we don't see in a lot of the other ones in this comparison when it comes to image control, monitoring, and things like frame guides, crop mats, and that kind of stuff. So it really makes this, along with the camera control for the supported cameras, a really good option in my opinion. Also worth knowing is the LH7P comes in this nice looking hard case along with a mount, cable, some knickknacks, including this little USB-C memory card for firmware, LUTs, and that kind of stuff. So I really hope that was helpful. If you have any questions about these monitors, feel free to let me know down in the description. I've also made a couple of individual reviews on these monitors that I will post in the description, maybe 1 or 2 on the end screen here in this video. Now, before I say thank you for watching and all that fun stuff, and links are in the description, obviously, I just want to go over a couple of things that might be worth knowing when you're shopping for a monitor. So, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, all monitors today have a screen resolution of 1920 by 1080. It used to be the case, and maybe you're able to find some old one on eBay or what have you with 1280 x 720, but 1920 by 1080 is the norm, and that's across all types of on-camera monitors. Another thing that a lot of people get confused about is that most monitors only support 4K 30 frames per second, except for the Feelworld P6X. The way you get around this is by adjusting your HDMI signal from your camera. Most cameras with an HDMI out that can shoot more than a full HD will usually have this option for you to set it to 1080. Same thing when it comes to bit depth on monitors. A lot of people, or most people still today, shoot and monitor with a Rec 79 LUT, which is obviously 8-bit, and we edit our 10-bit footage on a Rec 79 timeline, and we export it, upload it to social media platforms or the web, what have you, in 8-bit Rec 79. So unless you really know that you need a 10-bit monitor for a 10-bit workflow, or if you're shooting for DCI P3 projects and deliverables, but I think 97-ish% of the people out there looking for especially affordable monitors are still working in Rec 79. So yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about 10-bit or 8-bit. So I really hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know once again if you have any questions down below, and I hope I'll see you here in the next video. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a hello or a goodbye, whatever. See you in the next one. Bye.